Here's a song that's long overdue for a review, and that's Illegal Alien by Genesis, one of the most controversial songs. And we're going to talk about everything about this song today because it's so bizarre. But really, you know, there's a lot of people dislike this song. We did a survey last year where we asked Genesis fans their least favorite songs. And I think this one and Jesus, or maybe I Can't Dance and Whodunit were the top three, if I remember correctly. You know, we're going to talk about the kind of the whole like racism thing or like the lyrical content. But I think like one of the things that really negatively affects this song is not necessarily that. I think in spite of that, the fact is that it's just a bad song. Like musically, it's not exciting. It's not interesting. It reminds me a little bit of Jesus, He Knows Me. It's just kind of goofy. I don't like the melody and I don't like the music. And so I think it's very much like Whodunit. I think if the music was great, if this was Cinema Show with controversial lyrics, we would probably find a way to justify it. But this is kind of bad lyrics, bad songwriting, bad melodies. I'm not a fan of this song. Listen, there's other tunes too, regardless of the lyrics. Anything she does, this reminds me of anything she does. We did a whole episode about funny songs and how funny songs are just kind of, not only are they weird, not only do they disrupt the flow of the record, but also musically, they're not very good. Anything she does would be an example. I Can't Dance, Jesus, He Knows Me, Illegal Alien, Whodunit. I just don't find that they give their best musical ideas to some of these silly songs. Now let's talk about the lyrical content, because there is, I mean, first of all, I just want to say, and hopefully you watch this video before you start commenting, I just want to say that I really don't love the idea of like holding the past to today's standard. I think it's impossible, right? Like I certainly agree with being more empathetic, being more evolved as a human being today. And I certainly can look back into things I've said and done and be regretful, but I really don't want my past held to today's standard. It's kind of unfair. So I don't feel like doing that today. I don't feel like saying they made a mistake back then. I don't think it makes it correct. Anyway, I really don't want to get into all of that. I will just talk about the lyrics about this idea of illegal alien. I often wondered if it was kind of, I mean, Tony had talked about it being a sympathetic song to the kind of the border issues in America and Mexico, almost like being sympathetic to those people who are just looking for a better life. I think it's the costumes and the accents that people have a problem with today. But I think from a lyrical standpoint, and even the term illegal alien, it's something we maybe would have used back then. I don't know if we use it now. But I actually often wonder if the boys were being empathetic because they're illegal aliens or they're legal aliens in America. And it's kind of how this song came about. It's also how the song Jesus, He Knows Me came about, is they're in America, they're British guys. And listen, I'm Canadian, so I feel the same way as British people when we go to America. We're like, what's with all the Twinkies? The sports, the trucks, the gas station. It's weird. Nowhere is it weirder than like on television. And so seeing the TV evangelists and seeing some of the border issues that are talked about, I think it's like, this song to me is written from an empathetic standpoint of British people, Canadians might feel like an alien in America. This is a weird place for anyone who didn't grow up in America. And so I often wondered if it was the boys being empathetic to Mexican immigrants as they were British immigrants when they were on tour in the US. So they're not immigrants in that case, they're tourists, but you know what I mean. I also think there are redeeming lyrics like consideration for your fellow man. And so there is this sympathetic tone in the song. I certainly don't think they were making fun of immigrants or they were making fun of people who are searching for a better life for them and their family. I didn't hear that at all. And again, it's just a goofy song. That's a bad melody. That's bad music. My biggest problem is the song. Again, this is my channel, my opinion. I'm curious what you think. I have mentioned in another video about the idea of like Englishman in New York, the Sting song. I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien. That idea of like feeling out of place, feeling like an alien in like a normal area. You know what I mean? And so that's to me the tone that I hear. I think my biggest problem with silly songs, like we talked about in that video a couple months ago, is just that the album is just flowing so well. I'm actually a big fan of Shapes. I've come around on Shapes so much in the past couple of years, and I really love side one. And I always regret flipping. I always like don't anticipate flipping over to side B. In fact, a lot of times, I do this on Invisible Touch too, I drop the needle on the second song because I really do love some of the deep cuts. And I do love the second side. I love Silver Rainbow. It's going to get better. I like Taking It All Too Hard. I think it's a great album. And I would say almost the same for Invisible Touch. And these silly songs just kind of irk me because it just disrupts the flow. And if I'm listening to this at a dinner party, people are like, what is this song? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my biggest reason I don't like the song, is because of the song. But I will say, I really don't think we need to have any sort of criticisms about the lyrics or anything, regardless of what the intent of the author back then. It's just, it was something that was done in the 80s. Also, there was a culture too, right, of this kind of like of appropriating Mexican culture in entertainment. And so again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't want to go there. I don't have the authority to say that. I don't have the expertise to say that. I am just saying it was just kind of part of the culture, almost even an obsession with the culture, La Bamba or Feliz Navidad in the musical world. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about Illegal Alien. I just don't like the song. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the song.